I want you to go first in this one. Defensive Player of the Year. It's another tricky one that I think we may find some areas of disagreement on. I think it's obviously an open competition now because Victor Wembanyama is not eligible for the award. As long as Victor Wembanyama is in the league, he's going to win this award every single year until he retires. Like, that's just the way it's going to be. But now, with him out of the mix, it's wide open. Who you got?
Well, it's funny. I've heard many people sort of say this is the consolation award for DPOY because Victor was so far and ahead leading.
Yep.
If the 65-game rule did not exist, and we had more of these questions beforehand, and you were general manager in the league, would you have wanted Victor Wembanyama for 48 games, or would you have wanted whoever you voted first here for 68 games?
Victor Wembanyama for 48 games. I still want Victor Wembanyama.
So that, to me, says that the 65-game rule should not be involved in the voting. It's a real...
I'd say half a season of Victor Wembanyama, I'd probably take over anybody.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the question, right? When you sit there and say, how much do the games played matter? How much does availability matter? It matters a different amount with different players, right? There are some guys who you'll take only, 60% of a season with over anybody else in that category. I think Victor fits that bill for a lot of people. And again, superstars sitting out, real problem. 65-game rule in awards, not the good solution, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And this is a great example of it because no matter who wins this award, and I will tell you who I voted for in a minute, no one's going to think it matters. They're going to be like, that's only because Victor went down. Well, we shouldn't be saying that about the Defensive Player of the Year. It's a huge award. We should be giving it to the best defender this year. I do think that was Victor, but I did vote for Evan Mobley first.
Yeah, so did I. Same page.
All right. So what is your order though? Because I feel this is very controversial.
Tell me why Mobley. Why did Mobley top your list?
I just think complete from start to finish from the year. I think he can guard every position. I think the way that he sort of anchors that defense, and again, this is a team where winning matters. This is a spot to me where winning matters, and the fact that they led the Eastern Conference and sort of, as you just said, a surprise and did what they have been able to do. I think he gets credit for a lot of those different things. But it was not an easy call for me, and not necessarily in the way I've seen the national conversation go. So I'm curious who your top three were.
So I went with Mobley number 1, 2. Shot blocking, defensive versatility, defense without fouling too. Like, I think that's a real asset for this team.
The versatility to me is just off the charts.
I read a quote from Donovan Mitchell. He said, when you have a guy that can protect the rim, can help a side defender, can guard isolation, can guard pick and roll, that's what makes him Defensive Player of the Year. And I agree with Donovan Mitchell on that count. Like, he was the best defensive player of the league. So number 2 on my list was Zubac. And I got into all the reasons there before. He's anchoring a top 3 defensive team. He's defending the paint at a high level. He's rebounding. He's blocking shots. He's doing a whole bunch of different stuff. He was number 2 on my list. The third one was tough. And I don't think I was being nostalgic here, but I went with Draymond Green. Draymond Green was 3rd on my list, and he edges out Amen Thompson, who I don't think will ever wind up off this list ever again. Like, I think Amen Thompson in the next 2 or 3 years is going to be the best defensive wing player in the NBA. Might be the best defensive wing player in the NBA right now, but I think he's going to become the best defensive wing player and a perennial candidate to win Defensive Player of the Year. Draymond, especially in the second half of the season, especially after the Jimmy Butler trade, he was this do-everything defender for a team that was number 1 in the NBA in defensive rating. That's why I say it's not a nostalgic vote. Like, this was a guy that was surrounded by a bunch of good defenders, whatever Steph is. Jimmy's a really good defender, but Draymond was the anchor of that defense. Played a lot of 5 in these small ball lineups, had to defend multiple different guys from 7-foot bigs to 6'7" guards or wing players. I thought he did enough to get on my ballot. Didn't do enough to leapfrog Zubac. I think Zubac, over 80 games I think he played was just really good on that end of the floor. But Draymond edged out Amen Thompson on my list for 3rd.
Well, I was dealing with the same 4 candidates. I thought that they were the guys. To me, Evan Mobley was Defensive Player of the Year in a non-Victor Wembanyama environment.
The non-Victor Wembanyama.
So then it led me with my last 2 spots and how to fit those 3 guys into 2 spots. I went Amen Thompson 2nd because just the way he has sort of attacked this season, the one-on-one defense with the best players in the league. Obviously, it's a little recency bias, but the fact that he just held Steph Curry to 3 points on 1 of 10 shooting, obviously, we're going to talk about that a lot when we talk about Rockets Warriors. I'm not expecting him to do that every game of this series, but I have just seen him against elite player after elite player after elite player and shut them down. And in a league where, yes, we are having a lot of great center play right now, but it is still, I think, a wing league. To be able to shut those guys down, he got my second place vote, and I think you're right. I think he will be on this list, second to Victor Wembanyama for a lot of years. And then I went Draymond Green third also because I just felt, we say sometimes, someone's a system player and the other guy is the system. Draymond Green is the system in the Warriors. It's not just what he does. It's the way he makes that entire defense work, to what you just said. I mean, it's the orchestrating. It's the way the entire defense is built around him and what he can do and his size and all of the different things around him. I don't think anyone on the Warriors played as well in the first 2/3 of the season as since the trade deadline, since the Jimmy trade. And the 2/3 count. I mean, I heard a lot of people in these awards discussions been like, after the All-Star break, after the trade deadline. Neither of those things are the midpoint of the season.
Yeah.
They're all in the second half.
Yeah.
So you're talking about 60% of the season gone by the time we get to the All-Star game. You're talking about, 65, 68% season gone by the time, don't do the numbers, I'm not being exact. But my point is that just being great since then, you have to take that into consideration.
Yeah.
I don't think it's Draymond's fault. I think he was strong all year. But the defense that you're talking about really coalesced when Jimmy got there.
Yeah, and it's tough for me to exclude Amen. Like, when people listen to this, I've got a profile of Amen Thompson up on SI.com on Friday morning. Spent some time with him down in Houston, kind of got into the weeds on how he became a great defensive player. Like, his dad, basically, with him and Osser, was like, you're just going to be great at defense. Like that, and his dad was actually lamenting to me, like, maybe we should have worked more on his jumper. I don't know. We want to be a great defensive player. Like, his jumper's going to come along. Don't worry about that, Houston.
I was going to say, defense gets you a job in the league, and they can develop your jumper once you get there.
He's great. It was weird. I had a couple of coaches, and you probably do the same thing. I text a lot of coaches about, who would you pick for this? Who would you pick for that? I had a couple of coaches text me back, like, look, we love Amen Thompson, but there are some nights he's not the best defensive player on his team, right? Like, Dylan Brooks is an elite defensive player. He's on one of my 2 all defensive teams. And Dylan Brooks will often defend the more physical wings out there. He's a nice safety valve to have when you're Amen Thompson. Draymond Green didn't have that type of guy. Zubac for like half the season didn't really have that type of guy until Kawhi came back into the mix. So, that's why they gave those 2 guys the slightest of edge.